What is freaking happening, traders? God bless each and every single one of you guys. Hope you're having a stand-up freaking day. Today we're going to be covering stock ticker AMC, baby, as well as GME and the broader markets. So make sure to stay the full length of the video. Freaking slap the subscribe button and let's get straight into the DD on AMC. Looking at the daily close, we'll cover the weekly as well, but the daily close, you actually close with a bearish engulfing candle. Now note, right, this is the lowest volume at 13.15 million that you've had in over 10 months, guys. So this whole trading range has not seen a candle close as weak and as subtly until you get to this candle right here. This candle was the lowest right here, 12 million. So you have to go all the way back to December, guys. Freaking December was the last time you saw a trading candle that low. And mind you, it was right before a big ramp down, but I think we're looking at the inverted side of this, right? We're looking at what could potentially be the stopping point before an inverted run higher. And I say that because not only did we have our cup and handle formation, right? The good old, you know what it is, cup and handy, before seeing that break of the downtrend. But there is the possibility that you continue to kind of coil here before seeing that bigger move up, right? You want to see this thing base in a strength position, right? You're basing around the highs here, which is overall bullish, but be mindful, guys. There is the opportunity that this becomes a big fat head and shoulders. If you see this rejection pick up with volume, right? And that's something that we have not spoken about in a little bit, because we simply just do not believe that that will be the case, right? We're biased a little bit to the bullish side because of the freaking record revenues, record box office, and record EBITDA, that this thing is just seeing a little bit of a pullback. Now, in my opinion, right, I'm not a financial advisor, but adding now seems like you're kind of just pissing in the wind because you're not at a significant area of support or resistance, right? Adding now, you could come down to this 245 area of liquidity, which is strong support and resistance. You rejected it here. You rejected it here, rejected it here, and now you've rejected it again. So you could come back down to that like 245 area off of this uptrend. This uptrend isn't really anything special, so I'm not banking on it holding. But if you find a bounce, traders, that would be bullish confirmation that you're going to come back up here and hopefully make another local high back up here to about 292, which is that horizontal resistance, right? Breaking that neckline brings you into freaking Tendy Town, in my opinion, all the way up to 318, breaking that 318 mark, which is very specific resistance, right? It's this resistance from this dump. Breaking that pretty much leads you all the way up to 408. Breaking 408 pretty much brings you all the way up to 556. But those are all long-term targets here, traders. And what we're looking at right now is the macro. So your volume is low, right? You have a bearish engulfing, which in my eyes leads me to believe you close at the lows, you're gonna go lower, right? That's always been my confirmation on AMC and GameStop. But I'm watching for this uptrend. If that breaks, traders, we have a little bit more of a consolidative formation here on this right shoulder. Now, if that breaks, there's the opportunity that this becomes a little bit of a falling wedge, right? Lower highs and lower lows within this larger consolidative formation. And to be honest with you, it might be a pretty sexy thing to see this thing consolidate on top of your previous all-time downtrend, right? We know where this leads. This is the June 2021 downtrend that was part of that bullish pennant that you've rejected ever since, right? And this is your first ever freaking time actually consolidating on top of it. So a revisit on lowering volume of that would not be by any means bearish. In fact, that would be really, really sexy. So I'm watching for that to potentially occur within this falling wedge formation, and confirmation for me that this is in fact that longer consolidative formation is you got my man freaking John. When John squeezes you, nothing is going to happen very subtly, right? It all jokes aside, right? This is the Bollinger Bands, phrased by John Bollinger. That's why I'm saying John. And when these babies begin to squeeze, you oftentimes see sideways price action followed by a large freaking explosion. You can see on AMC every single consolidative formation has come at a squeeze by my man John. See these bands begin to constrict. You see a more consolidative move into the expansion, right? Bands begin to squeeze, consolidative move into the expansion. You now have Bollinger Band squeezing once again, right? Top band coming down, and the lower band is absolutely rapidly coming up, right? So I expect this thing to continue to freaking chop, in my opinion, right? Go see a higher low or potentially a lower low within this wedge. And as John continues to freaking squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, think of it as reverse, right? Think of it like a rubber band. The rubber band is constricting, constricting, constricting. The stock is only getting stronger until the rubber band snaps, right? And you can only pull it so far before this thing snaps. And you should see this overall volume downtrend come to a bloody ending, right? And although you're already kind of taking a little peeky weeky outside of this on the weekly time frame, traders, you have not, right? This weekly volume has completely and utterly exited the chat, and this will end in either a beautiful expansion up or a very depressing expansion down. We know our targets to the upside, 318, 408, and 556. If this thing comes to the downside, right, which no one wants, it is a possibility that you come and fill your gap at 205, as well as tap this uptrend, guys, right around that 205 mark. Now, if that happens, I would not be surprised to see it happen with some dilution news, because we're kind of just sitting on our hands, right? We're kind of just waiting to see. But the most important thing, traders, if you see this rejection in the markets or if you see this pull down in AMC, is even if you come down here, right? That's been a great buying zone in this overall uptrend. So like I said, don't piss in the wind. Potentially add when it's meaningful, right? Add when you see these bigger rallies. 146%. What was the other one? 89%, right? And this one was rather large, 106%. If you come down here and you find a bullish bounce, every single time you've seen that, right? Weekly time frame, bullish engulfing, bullish hammer candle. If you see that confirmation, guys, that is, I'm going to be pounding my fist on the table for the second time in a row. And I will probably be the only one bullish while everyone's bearish. But the thing that you must do if you revisit this territory next week or the following week, right? I don't anticipate it happens, but if you do, you need to find a bounce and a hold above the RSI band on the weekly time frame. You can see here this dip to the uptrend here came at the cost of revisiting this RSI band. You saw the nastiest bounce that I've ever seen on the RSI band, and then you went and made a higher high. Now, if you do that again, traders, I want to see the exact same thing, because a failure to hold this RSI band, not saying it will, right, but it has ended very, very sloppily in the past, right? This was that 69% downtrend from the loss of it here. And the previous loss of it was right about here, right? Top to bottom, 25% withdrawal. So regardless of what the percentage loss would be, it would not be a good sign for the overall bullish momentum and could potentially put in your sign of this double top. And nobody wants that, right? So I remain convicted bullish on AMC. I remain thinking that this is actually just the consolidation before the freaking rip because of the volume, right? If you saw bears step in here, and I want to explain this in a way that you guys can feel the conviction that I'm feeling, right? If you saw this bullish candlestick formation get overtopped, right? On this high, on this double top, the bears really step in here and freaking smack this thing down, then I would be absolutely saying, guys, this does not look good. But you have seen nothing but the opposite from this downtrend in price. You're now down top to bottom 20%, and the volume has completely exited the chat, guys. I remain very, 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 very bullish here, and I hope you guys are too, right? Hope you guys are feeling it. This freaking squeeze from my man John Bollinger is probably going to end in a very explosive way to the upside, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but that's what we're watching for on AMC. Monthly time frame, nothing has changed. 4-hour time frame, nothing has changed. Let's see, daily time frame. RSI, nothing has really changed in the daily time frame. There is the opportunity for a potential double bottom here on the RSI, potentially putting in another touch of hidden bullish divergence, right? If you come down to this 50 line on the RSI, find that bullish confirmation bounce, but you make a bounce right around this uptrend, that would be a technical touch of hidden bullish divergence again, right? A higher low while the RSI makes a equal low or slightly lower low. So we're watching for that very heavily come next week. And just to kind of end on AMC, technical profit target on this head and shoulders, guys, is this neckline of the head. That would take you right around that $1.92 to $2 range. So that's worst case scenario in my eyes on AMC, still remaining very, 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 very bullish. So that's what we got on stock ticker AMC. If you guys made it this long, do me a favor, freaking slap the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's get into GME, because GME has been a hot topic amongst the community. Everyone and their mother is bearish on GameStop right now, and I cannot help but be the opposite, right? Oftentimes when the market sentiment is bearish, it is easiest to coincide with it, right? For me to say this thing's going to $9, you're going for a big fat double bottom here at this equal low. And although that's possible, right? I don't want to take that away from anyone's belief. I do not think for the life of me that is likely, right? Because you have so many different supports and resistances. The biggest support you have is right exactly where you find yourself today, right? This previous shelf of support, every single candle on the monthly time frame closing above this 1866 territory. You then look at where you rejected and you close. You rejected at open 1866. So how hilarious, right? The high here being 1859, the low here being 1873. And now you close yourself at 1866, exactly where this support lies. So if you find this bounce, guys, I would not be surprised to see it, because not only do you have this uptrend in price that you're coming dangerously to, right? You may wick into it next week. If I go to the weekly time frame, come on, GME. You may wick into it next week, and that is going to be a serious, serious opportunity. As you can see, this falling wedge that you're in on the weekly time frame or on the daily time frame comes to an end right around that uptrend. Right? How coincidental. This uptrend is one that has found some insane gains, right? This run from the pullback into the freaking squeeze, this pullback before your squeeze of 2024, and now you are there once again. And there's no guarantee that this is going to hold, right? But every single time you touch into it, you're coming into oversold territory. So you're making a beautiful bullishly divergent or bullishly confluent low here within an overall daily bullish reversal formation. The falling wedge is a bullish thing. A step further, guys, the volume trend exhausted, right? You're putting in multiple touches of doji formations here right around key significant supports, guys. I'm actually bullish on GameStop for the first time in a very long time, guys. It looks freaking sexy. And you can see here, you're on your way of coming out of oversold territory every single time you've done that in the past, guys. And you pass this RSI daily band here, you've seen pretty beautiful moves, right? You came outside of the oversold territory here, 20%. You bounce off of it here, top to bottom, 14%. Let's see. Bounce off of it here. That's your official low, and then you run that 566%. And it goes on and on and on, right? You could see that oftentimes this low here coming outside of the oversold territory is an excellent area to add. And although I'm not a financial advisor, right, I am short-term bullish on GME. I think you hit a pretty good area of support. And looking at the daily time frame even, hold on, you do have this textbook bullish divergence, right? Lower low. And then on the daily time frame, you have a higher low. So I'm going to watch how that develops next week, but you have a falling wedge, falling volume, massive horizontal support, massive uptrend that you could come into next week. And all of that, plus one or two more things that I want to talk about here on Jimmy today that is absolutely quintessential. The monthly time frame, guys, lock in, right? You see my eyes? Lock in right now. The monthly time frame, the lower Bollinger Band, you have officially wicked into, guys. 833 is your low on this monthly candle. Your Bollinger Band is at 832. So you came within a penny of touching this band. And I want to show you the last time you've touched this band, right? On the monthly time frame, your low was right here, right? And right here. This double bottom with the last sequence going all the way back to back here, right? 2019 of September, guys, was the last time before this April bottom, this April double bottom, that you've touched the bottom of this Bollinger Band, guys. So the fact that you're coming into it today after John, my boy, saw a little bit of constricting, right? Oftentimes you see your biggest moves as a launch off of this bottom Bollinger Band. So I would not be surprised to see GME, our boy Jimmy, find a low here and wick back into this gap fill, currently sitting at 21.13. So that's the technical analysis on GME's chart right now. You're at an area of key support. You just need to find the volume and the bounce come next week, guys. The short term looks pretty beautiful. The macro looks very, very interesting for a potential low here. But above all else, traders, what I wanted to talk about for GameStop right now was the freaking financials. You'll see it on the bottom of your screen. And looking at this company has been a beautiful development over the last 3 years, 4 years even. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, income statement, net income, guys, above all else. You can see revenue trending down, but that's because they are closing stores and becoming profitable, and nothing matters more than your bottom line of the company. Short sellers may convince you otherwise. News hit piece articles may say GameStop's income is down, but just you wait, guys, for GameStop in a very interesting position going into the next console cycle, right? The new consoles coming out, as well as GTA 6 coming out, guys. I expect GameStop to be a hot topic going into the next 6 months, going into that cycle of GTA 6. So very interesting stuff on GameStop. The financials have been nothing but green. As you can see here, 218% year over year, and a net revenue of all-time profit, $418 million in profit. And this, I think, gives a good annualized year over year, right? Seeing the $131 million in profit the previous year, you barely pinched out profit, $6.7 million back in 2023. And then you see the 2023 fiscal year, 2022 fiscal year of net negative 313 and 381 million. So the overall swing up in operating net income is absolutely insane. And I think that should be the priority, right? That should be the micro freaking lens that you're looking at GameStop right now. As a company, are they profitable? Yes. Are they trending in the right direction? Yes. Has that seen reflection into the price? The quick, simple answer is no, right? You're trading at the same levels that you were trading back in 2022, but your net year over year is 600 million more in profit. That's absurd. And I believe that there is the best yet to come yet on GameStop. So that's what we got for the day, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the freaking deep dive into diligence on AMC and GameStop. Until next time, guys, I love and appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And as always, the best is yet to come. Let's freaking go, and peace.